What if the biggest threat in Spider-Man, Brand New Day, isn't a villain? What if it's Peter Parker himself? Because this trailer doesn't just tease a new enemy, it teases a Spider-Man who's losing control of his own body. A Spider-Man whose DNA is changing, whose powers are evolving, and whose greatest battle might be against the monster growing inside him. Sony and Marvel have finally released the official Brand New Day trailer, and even though leaked footage has been floating around online for days, seeing everything in full quality reveals details that completely change the picture. Let's break down every major reveal. The trailer opens with an intense confrontation between Spider-Man and Scorpion. At first, it looks like a standard superhero fight, but then something strange happens. Peter realizes something is seriously wrong. His body isn't responding the way it should. His powers are behaving differently, and for the first time, he looks genuinely afraid of himself. Instead of gaining control, he's losing it. His eyes begin turning red once again, hinting at the terrifying instant kill state teased earlier. But this version feels different, more aggressive, more unstable, more dangerous. When Peter grabs Scorpion's tail and slams him with overwhelming force, it becomes obvious that whatever is happening inside him is making him far stronger than before, and Peter knows it. At one point, he even admits he's completely out of control. Interestingly, the leaked trailer originally opened with Spider-Man fighting the Hand. The official version replaces that sequence with Scorpion, suggesting Marvel may be hiding something much bigger for later. The next scene shifts tone completely. We see MJ and Ned recording what appears to be a casual social media video during their final semester at MIT. The conversation seems harmless, but underneath it lies one of the saddest realities of Peter Parker's life. Because while MJ and Ned continue living their lives, Peter is watching from a distance, alone, invisible, forgotten. He's secretly following their updates online because it's the only connection he still has to the people he loves. And that's important, because isolation has always been one of Spider-Man's greatest weaknesses. The more disconnected Peter becomes, the more vulnerable he becomes emotionally. And this trailer strongly suggests that loneliness may be fueling the changes happening inside him. Then, we get one of the biggest reveals: organic webbing. For the first time, Peter appears to experience webs emerging directly from his body. As he attempts to attach his traditional web shooters, organic webbing suddenly bursts through and destroys them. The reaction on his face says everything. This isn't something he expected. This isn't something he understands. And it raises a massive question. What exactly is happening to Peter Parker's DNA? Searching for answers, Peter turns to the one person who might understand mutation better than anyone: Bruce Banner. Peter directly asks Bruce what's happening to his genetics. He explains that his DNA is changing and hopes Banner has discovered a way to suppress unwanted mutations. But Bruce gives an answer that may define the entire movie. Peter wants to remove the bad parts while keeping the good ones, the power without the consequences, the advantages without the cost. And Bruce challenges that idea. He asks a simple but profound question: who decides which parts of nature are good and which parts are bad? It's one of the most important lines in the trailer, because this isn't just about Peter anymore. It's also setting up the future of mutants in the MCU. The trailer strongly connects this theme to Jean Grey, a mutant whose powers exist naturally but are treated as dangerous by the Department of Damage Control. The movie appears to be asking whether mutation itself is truly the problem or whether fear is. And judging by these scenes, Brand New Day may be much deeper than fans expected. We then see Peter testing his new abilities across the city, and honestly, it's a disaster. A bird crashes into him mid-swing. He smashes into a water tower. He crashes through a building window and accidentally interrupts a public ceremony. Clearly, Peter hasn't mastered these new powers yet. He spent years relying on mechanical web shooters. Organic webbing is completely unfamiliar territory, but despite the chaos, something interesting happens. Nobody seems angry. Nobody panics. In fact, people appear genuinely happy to see Spider-Man. At some point, Peter has apparently become a beloved public hero again. Even so, he still apologizes, because no matter how much he changes, Peter Parker is still Peter Parker. Bruce later asks if Peter is one of his students, and that line feels more important than it sounds, because Bruce is smart enough to investigate anyone who suddenly appears asking questions about genetic mutation. Could Banner eventually figure out Spider-Man's true identity? The trailer may already be hinting at it. Then things get much darker. William Magsger from Damage Control warns that humanity is facing a threat they cannot control, a threat they cannot even see. Yet somehow Spider-Man appears immune to it, and that's when Jean Grey enters the story. The footage reveals far more of her telepathic abilities than previous trailers. We've already seen hints that she can jump between minds. Now we learn something even more important. Her powers don't seem to affect Spider-Man. For reasons that remain unclear, Peter is resistant. Maybe it's his spider sense, maybe it's something else entirely, but whatever the explanation, it makes Spider-Man unique. Because if Jean Grey can enter everyone's mind except concept is Peter may become the only person capable of truly reaching her. Then we get a quick glimpse of Jean using telekinesis to flip an enormous tank and escape captivity. And from there, the situation escalates dramatically. A massive psychic wave erupts outward. As it spreads across the city, ordinary people freeze in place, completely motionless, completely helpless. Yet Spider-Man remains unaffected. He looks around and realizes everyone else has stopped moving. It's one of the most unsettling moments in the trailer, and longtime X-Men fans will immediately recognize the similarities to Professor X's abilities. This suggests Jean Grey may already be approaching Omega-level telepath territory. Even more interesting, Punisher appears unaffected as well, which raises another mystery. Is Jean intentionally allowing him to move? Is he helping her? Or is there another reason he's resisting her influence? Whatever the answer is, the trailer clearly wants us asking questions, and from this point forward, Brand New Day stops feeling like a Spider-Man movie and starts feeling like the beginning of something much bigger. Meanwhile, Spider-Man starts realizing something terrifying. Jean Grey isn't just moving through minds anymore. She's leaving a trail. Every person she touches becomes a clue, and Peter's new suit appears to be tracking it. As he moves through a crowded event, strange visual markers begin appearing across his display, almost like he's mapping a signal that keeps jumping from brain to brain. For the first time, someone may actually be able to follow where Jean is going. Then things escalate. Jean takes control of a helicopter pilot. Suddenly, the aircraft veers off course. Chaos erupts, and Spider-Man launches after it. At the same time, Peter finds himself back inside Ned and MJ's apartment during a party. But this isn't just any party, because hidden inside is something incredibly important. Ned has built an entire conspiracy board, a board dedicated to one mystery, Spider-Man. Even though the spell erased Peter Parker from their memories, both Ned and MJ still feel like something is missing, like there's a piece of their lives they can't explain, and subconsciously, they're trying to find it. The trailer strongly hints that Ned spends much of the movie trying to uncover Spider-Man's true identity, because deep down, he feels connected to him. He just doesn't know why. Then comes one of the most awkward moments in the trailer. Peter and MJ meet again. Ned casually points out that they don't know each other, and the look on Peter's face says everything, because for him, that's not true at all. This moment alone creates a huge question for the ending. Will MJ remember? Will Ned remember? Or will Peter finally tell them the truth himself? The trailer doesn't answer it, but it definitely wants us thinking about it. And then things get darker. Jean Grey continues speaking to Peter through random civilians, jumping from one mind to another, mocking him, studying him, almost hunting him. At one point, she asks him if he's gotten rid of the monster inside himself yet, and that's a fascinating line, because it confirms Jean already knows something is wrong with Peter. She's seen whatever is happening inside him. She's seen the red-eyed transformation, the rage, the loss of control, and somehow she understands it, even better than Peter does. Then Jean drops another threat. She mentions MJ. Immediately, Peter panics, because if Jean can enter anyone's mind, MJ could be next. So Peter does the only thing he can do. He rushes to find her first, and when he arrives, MJ is understandably shocked to see Spider-Man standing in front of her. But despite not remembering Peter, she still trusts Spider-Man. Some instincts never disappear. Then comes the moment fans have been waiting years to see. Back inside Bruce Banner's lab, something goes horribly wrong. The gamma regulator is gone. Bruce begins transforming. His body expands, his muscles grow, the intelligence fades, and suddenly, Savage Hulk is back. Not Professor Hulk, not Smart Hulk, the real Hulk, the monster. And it looks like Jean Grey is responsible. The trailer heavily implies she enters Bruce's mind and manipulates him into removing the device that keeps Hulk under control. If that's true, Jean may have just unleashed one of the most dangerous beings on Earth. Peter's reaction says it all. I didn't know you could get this big, because the only Hulk Peter has ever known was Professor Hulk. This version is completely different, bigger, angrier, and infinitely more dangerous. Then we finally see it. Hulk's iconic thunderclap. The shockwave blasts Spider-Man across the battlefield. His webs can't stop Hulk. Nothing seems capable of stopping Hulk. And suddenly what started as a mutant mystery has become a survival story, because now Peter isn't just chasing Jean Grey. He's trying not to get smashed by a raging Hulk. The trailer then shifts into something surprisingly emotional. Spider-Man escapes with MJ. The two swing across the city together, and for a brief moment, everything feels familiar again, almost like the old days. They eventually end up at the Punisher's safe house. Even Frank Castle seems surprised to see MJ standing there. But Peter doesn't have many options left, and during these scenes, we hear what might be the most important voiceover in the entire trailer, Aunt May, or at least a newly recorded version of her words. The message completely reframes Peter's journey. She tells him that responsibility doesn't mean pushing people away, it means protecting them. That line changes everything, because Peter has spent this entire time believing the safest thing he could do was stay alone. But maybe he's been wrong. Maybe protecting people doesn't mean disappearing from their lives. Maybe it means standing beside them. And if that's where this story is heading, then the ending may reunite Peter, MJ, and Ned after all. Meanwhile, MJ appears to convince Punisher to help Spider-Man, which is a team-up I never expected to see. Then we get another massive action sequence inside the prison. Spider-Man activates his brutal red-eyed combat mode again, taking on members of the Hand, with a level of aggression we've never seen before. But then comes my favorite shot in the entire trailer, the web tornado attack, a giant spinning storm of webs ripping through the battlefield. Visually, absolutely insane. This might be one of the coolest Spider-Man abilities we've ever seen in live action, and somehow, the trailer still isn't done. Peter visits Aunt May's grave, places flowers down, and quietly says goodbye. It's one of the few peaceful moments in the trailer, until Hulk shows up again. Spider-Man leaps off a building. Hulk literally smashes through the structure behind him, and the chase continues. Honestly, seeing Savage Hulk back in action feels unreal. Marvel fans have waited years for this version to return, and now he's fighting Spider-Man. Finally, the trailer closes with a lighter moment. Spider-Man casually stretches before fighting DODC soldiers, cracking jokes, looking more confident than ever, and then he says something important. I'm not that kid anymore. And honestly, he's right. This version of Peter Parker has been through more pain than almost any Spider-Man we've ever seen. He's lost everyone, lost his identity, lost his future, and now he's fighting to rebuild his life from scratch. But here's the detail that really caught my attention. During one fight with the Hand, Peter's mask comes off. His face is exposed, which means some people may finally learn that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. And if that's true, the secret identity storyline may be ending sooner than we think. So maybe that's what Brand New Day is really about, not becoming a new Spider-Man, but finally becoming the Spider-Man he was always meant to be. The question is, what happens when everyone discovers who he really is? And more importantly, what happens when Peter discovers who he's becoming? Because if this trailer is telling the truth, the biggest threat in Brand New Day might not be Jean Grey, it might not be Hulk, it might not even be the Hand, it might be Peter Parker himself, and that's a terrifying thought. So tell me this, what was the biggest reveal in the trailer for you? Savage Hulk, Jean Grey, the organic webbing, or the possibility that MJ and Ned finally remember Peter? Drop your theories below, because something tells me Marvel is hiding a much bigger secret than any of us realize.